Hello, I'm Roy Collin, the host of Speaking Podcast, and welcome to episode number 4. And this week I was interviewing Angela and Shane Saunders, who had recently completed a breathwork exercise. They'd done 3 shows at an event, and I've also had sunrise morning breathwork with them. They're going to talk about breathwork and how it's important in speech, but also I discuss how they work together on stage and work in harmony because they complement each other. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure that you subscribe and give a positive review, as this helps us get in the eyes of more people. And you can follow us on our Facebook, Speaking Podcast. Our website is speakingpodcast.com. We're also on Instagram, Speaking Podcast.
Hello, I'm here with Angela and Shane Saunders, who I've met in Bali, and we're here. So if you hear the birds singing in the background, that's why. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves so you know exactly who they are. So we start with ladies first.
Thank you. Yes, Angelina Saunders. I originally from California, and 10 years ago moved to Australia to be with this man here. And previously I was in the entertainment business. And when I moved to Australia, I just started life all over again, and I was figuring out where we are and where we are today. We're running breathing workshops globally and have an online sort of connection that we have with people and their breath. So specializing in breathing.
So I'm obviously from Australia. I've got a military background, so I started out training general entry sailors and soldiers, and slowly moved my way up and went into special forces. So it's really funny that I've come from being in such a high stress, high stakes type of thing to finding my way to breathing. and so for me, I've always found myself in front of large groups, especially in the military, needing to be assertive and being able to project the voice and command and direct people. So when it comes to having the confidence, I guess, to stand up and speak in front of people, it was kind of forced upon me. And I think that we'd like to be really practical, so we'll just get I've got so many ideas about what I'd like to share here about speaking, and I guess where I would start is the reason that we do the breath work first is because it clears so much shit out of the way. And you guys probably would have discussed this on here so many times about how people are so fearful. It's like they're more fearful of death than public speaking. Exactly. And so when you do the breathing, it is an absolutely amazing type of intervention, because it will start to just unravel things that are in you, which has that, I think that public speaking comes from fear of judgment, because I know when I'm still up there speaking, you're always thinking, oh, people going to like what I'm saying, is what I'm going to say make sense? What if someone else in the crowd goes, oh, that's stupid, or that didn't make sense, or this guy hasn't researched his stuff? And I think that it's that constant nagging little voice that happens, which gives you that I'm not even going to get up there and share what it is for fear of judgment. So I think that if you, for me, that's really something that as a speaker, when we are about to go on and speak, and we do our clearing breathwork session, and we've designed little 6-minute, 12-minute sessions for speakers prior to when they go on. Okay. And it's just generally about clearing that energy, because excitement and anxiety are exactly the same energy in the body, just with a label on it. You either call it anxiety or you call it excitement. So a little tip for everyone listening is, it's excitement. You're getting excited about going up and sharing what you have. And so, the breathing really, number one, it helps clear that judgment. And then number two, it helps you recognize it's just energy rising in your body, And also on top of that, the breathing also physiologically calms you down. You know, when you're breathing out, especially and focusing on your exhales, you're down regulating the nervous system, which, you know, just brings everything down, slows it down, and then you're able to come up and deliver, you know, in a nice, succinct fashion, and feel confident about being up there.
Yeah, I can remember when I was in the entertainment business, I pretty much sabotaged my shot at the Pussycat Doll show because I did not know how to connect with my breath. And, you know, I had all this training for singing and I could do that, and but I didn't have training for before or after a performance. So before a performance, like, you can sing and move some energy, but when I actually learnt techniques to wrangle the energy and calm the energy down, and then have it not have a charge on my body, therefore I could then step out on stage and deliver what I was there to deliver.
Let's put a practical spin on that and kind of illustrate this. It doesn't matter who you are. We've met speakers all over the world, and everybody gets the nerves or the energy before they go on. It doesn't matter how many times you've been on stage and what you're delivering. And so if you imagine that is going to happen every time. So what we teach people is to bring your breath up to that speed, up to the speed of the energy that you're feeling. You bring it up we use like a circular fashion. Now that might be a lot faster, that's just because we're trained, but whatever it is for you, you bring it up to that speed. It's like lassoing the energy, and then you bring it back down. And so, you know, to sort of illustrate it, it is catching the energy, bringing it back down. Now that takes care of you physiologically. The other thing that you need to pay attention to is your physiology, is how much tension are you starting to build in the body. Like, can you know, if I bet you if everyone, if you're listening out there, and I bet you if you checked your shoulders before you're about to go on, your shoulders are probably up around your ears, right, holding the tension. So you know, just noticing these cues and being able to start to relax the body, right? The diaphragm is such an important muscle in the body, and often we've found that people have locked up diaphragms. You know, they have little sticking points in their diaphragm, and so the breathing also helps with loosening the diaphragm, which, you know, we've worked with singers before, and diaphragmatic movement is so integral to how they project their voice as well. So, you know, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect tool for speaking, for singing, you know, as looking at breathing or breath work to take notice of it. Just purely because of where it's located in the body, what it controls and what it does.
So relaxation, I'd say, is the key, because when you start releasing that tension, and even the pelvic floor, like, it's profound how we can be standing up feeling like we're trying to hold on to everything so you don't lose your ability to be calm, you know. But it's a paradox, because as soon as you let go, the calm just happens naturally. Letting go of the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the, you know, shaking. I actually, before I went out on stage, before I would speak, I would literally have to push my belly out and just reassure that it's safe to relax.
Yeah, that's creating space.
Yes.
You know, creating space. And you know, a couple of other really great things that we've learned about the breath is stopping to take a breath in through the nose while you're speaking, in between. It might sound really weird when you start doing it, but you'll start to notice how it starts regulating everybody in the crowd's nervous system. You start to tune in and start regulating them when you are like just taking a breath. And a lot of people, I've found, me included, you want to fill the space, right? Like, this is what I think a trap for speakers is that they can't deal with silence. Right? Silence is powerful. Silence is probably one of the most powerful tools that you have as a speaker. You pause while you're on stage and everyone's like, there's something good coming here. Right? Like it's one of those things that people are they're hanging on what's going on. Yet for you on stage, you're like, like I don't want to hold this pause for too long because it feels uncomfortable. But it's really a magical tool when you can wield that as a speaker, because you're pacing the audience, you're pacing the story. It allows you time to think. There's a lot of really great studies on how your cognition and memory are really heightened on your inhale. So when you stop to take a breath, especially through the nose while you're speaking, it gives you a little space to organize your thoughts. Again, you're calming the nervous system. So it gives you this space. It creates space for you to deliver your content in a timed, rhythmic fashion. And, we speak together, which is difficult. Now, what
I want to say about
it.
Like, I've noticed that, like, I've seen a lot of couples speak together, and it's normally one takes the shore, kind of cuts the other. I have never seen somebody so fluid the way you work together. It's like you finish each other's sentences, and it's not just my opinion. Like, everyone I spoke to said, you're in flow. And, like, is that something you've always had, or have you got a technique
Roy,
No.
It's like that now, but it wasn't always like that. We would cut each other off. We would, she would say, I wanted to say that, and you said it, and then, that was mine. So we, like everybody else, it's something that takes for you getting out of each other's way. It takes for you allowing each other, and really what that is, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. And remember, I just spoke about these pauses and breathing through the nose. We know that if the other one pauses and is breathing, that you know where they were at in their delivery or what they were saying. You can just smooth in. It's like surfing a wave. You just drop in, and because we give each other that space, we go on the allowance, and then there'll be a point, and it is intuitive, and it's something that we do discuss prior. So nothing comes without planning. This is not a like, hey, we're so good, we just turn up and we just do it. And sometimes we do just.
Well, it looks like that. He looks so natural.
We do rock it because sometimes we don't know what we're going to say. But it is about that timing, and it's about those pauses, because if you have those pauses, it gives the other person an opportunity to drop in, and then you can always come back and finish what you were saying. Or if Angie drops in with something, I might go, oh good, I'm going to go off the tail of that. And what we do is we consistently loop back around and then follow each other in, and it becomes a cycle that we do. And I would add there that you start to develop the skill of listening and speaking and pausing and listening. And I'm constantly listening to what she's delivering, getting my own judgments out of the way. She's saying something stupid. Oh, that didn't make sense. Or, like that happens.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Totally. Sometimes he says things I'm like, oh, that was probably a bit too intense for some people.
Because, another really great dynamic that we have practiced, and it comes from our relationship and our commitment to each other in our relationship, is that I know I hold the masculine space, so sometimes I'm a bit blunt, like a velvet sledgehammer. I'm getting more graceful as we deliver the stuff. And she's the feminine energy, the nurturing energy, the mama energy, and sometimes we flip it, and it knocks people off balance, and it's a bit of a scramble for people. So a real powerful tool if you are speaking in pairs, or even if you're not, is to really learn what does it mean to be masculine, what does it mean to be feminine, because we have it in both of us. And this is not only good for your speaking career, it's good for your relationships, it's good for everything, but it gives you that ability to flip, and that does scramble people, and it creates novelty and variety as a speaker, because people are like, oh my god, like they were this he was this nasty like boot camp sergeant giving us, and then all of a sudden he's like giving us these loving, nurturing things, and so it's a ride, and it's I guess it's not so much a formula, but it's just something that we intuitively do when we flow.
And coming back to the breath, what you said at the very start, Shane, is that it's clearing your own energy. Because we found that if we were nervous or tight or uptight, we did not flow together very well at all. So for us, it's really important for us to clear our own energy such that we can show up and get the message across and get into that flow that we're talking about.
Yeah, and we really I want to be conscious that we do obviously deliver some really practical stuff here, and what we teach in our workshops and part of our part of the things that we do is that when you inhale, it upregulates and energizes your nervous system. When you exhale, it downregulates and relaxes the nervous system. So if you want energy, you focus on your inhales, the accents on the inhale. When you want to relax,
The exhale.
you focus on the exhale. It is literally that simple. There are two levers in the body that pretty much control your nervous system. So if you want to relax, if you feel like you're getting, like you're starting to stumble over your words or mumble or whatever it is, and you feel the energy rising, and you want to focus on, okay, I need to slow it down, then pause, take a breath, and just take a little bit longer to just exhale, and this is going to calm you down, right? And no one will notice it. It's such a subtle thing,
And intimate.
So
it's creating that intimate relationship.
So
with
for
your
something really practical is practice just taking a breath in. You might take it in quick, and then just like you're blowing out a candle. Just nice and easy, and you'll feel what it's like to just calm down. And you practice weaving that in between the sentences, weaving that into the conversation, so that you can start to pace yourself and time yourself. And people will be like, wow, it was so, the delivery was so timed and calming, and it's all in the breath.
We call it cultivating presence. Because when you have a presence about you, people will listen.
Yeah. Look, if you're, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're speaking, you're in sales. Let's face it. You're either selling your ideas to people, or you're selling a course to people that you want to buy. And intention is
Or
really,
if it's
really,
a relationship, you're selling yourself.
correct.
Yes.
And intention is the key to that. If your intention is for people to really get something from it and be able to use it, then your intention's true. Then it's fine. And so, this whole thing about the delivery is that it's ideas you're selling. So that's why this idea, as Angie mentioned, of cultivating presence is so important, because people, when you show up, people feel you. They don't just hear you. They feel you when you're there. And so when you practice what we teach, when you practice observing your breath, or when you practice any kind of breath work, you're gonna cultivate this presence, and so people feel it. And that's why you can get confident with standing on stage before you even start, taking a few breaths. This will calm people down. I mean, you saw it when we come out. We just take a couple of big sighs, and we just.
Which is actually great, because I think that actually relaxes the audience.
Yeah,
it does, but the audience then breathes and relaxes as well, and gets them into the optimal state for listening.
Yeah.
So it's like instant rapport.
Yeah.
Bringing everybody together.
Yeah. Breathing is the oldest communication system you have. It literally is.
Mm-hmm.
You time yourself with someone else's breathing and you're in instant communication with them. It's the first point of contact that you, as a speaker, as a communicator, as anything, you need to take notice of other people's breathing, and you need to time with it. And you can do that from the stage with hundreds, thousands of people in the audience. And like we said, you know, like when we sigh, it's catching. Everyone sits there and sighs. So, you know, a great thing for you to try out and for practice is just come up on stage, stand with confidence, and just sigh and make it enjoyable, because, you know, if you sigh and you're trying to hide it and hold it in, people will go, oh, this guy nervous or what. But when you sigh with pleasure, everyone goes, I want some of that.
Exactly, definitely. And like, I totally get the breathwork thing, because I've had competitions where I had to listen to the Polish side first, and then the English one was on next, and I was sitting in the audience, and then I had to get up, and I wasn't ready breath-wise, and I'd done a very bad speech. And the last one that I'd done, I knew I had a break 15 minutes, so I was outside, I was practicing my breathing, and it was one of my best speeches I've ever done.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It's all about, like, you don't have to even get any deeper than the nervous system, really, because, you know, arousal control, right? We're not talking in the bedroom. I'm talking just body arousal is the main thing that happens. You know, because the energy rises, because you're excited. You're excited. You're about to get up, and you're about to communicate, and you're about to touch people. And so, you know,
there's definitely a positive vibe about it. Like, you know, when you go up, it's kind of
absolutely, yeah.
And like I see with how you project your voice, did you get that from the military, or were you trained in that? Because not everybody is able to, you know, speak with such power.
I think yes. I think a lot of it came from that, because we did do a lot of projecting from the diaphragm. Martial arts is another really great one for men. You know, Angie will probably talk about hers, but, you know, martial arts is a really good thing. Like, even just YouTube stuff in martial arts about the diaphragm or projection and stuff like that, you're going to get a lot of really good tips. And I really believe that unlocking our diaphragm through the breath work gives it more flexibility, you know, allows you to vary the pitch and the delivery and the tone a lot better, because you've got more control and more finesse with the air that you're moving in and out. So I think that, yeah, it definitely has come from background. It's not something, you know, it's something that is really easy for people to do. Like, you know, just you know, I don't do it personally, but I would imagine that people warm up their voice. We've had singers that have reported after they do a 3-minute breath session, you know, just circular breathing for 3 minutes, it's just looping sighs together, that they don't feel like they need to do the you know, like they don't need to do that warm up. So we're like,
your husband's actually a good singer.
I know.
Are you in the right profession?
I was admiring.
So, you know, so it's something that you can play with, and you know, I would invite people to, or, you know, people that if you're listening to this, I would invite you to, you know, try a breathing method, try looping the breaths together, and you can be gentle with it, and then see how you go with projecting your voice and practicing it. You know, I remember coaching some clients, and I would ask them to stand at the wall and yell at the wall. It was really interesting how many people couldn't even do that. You know, because I think projecting your voice is you know, there's a real barrier there for people projecting their voice. There's a real again, I think it comes down to the judgment thing, or the making noise, or the not wanting to be heard or seen. So, you know, I think that, again, if you want to look at what's hiding under the hood in the brain, it could be these things. And simply by bringing some conscious awareness to the fact that you may be unconsciously thinking these things, and by doing the breathing and projecting the voice, you're gonna tone up and have a really great delivery system for when you do your talks.
And I assume you actually increase the capacity of your lungs by
Oh,
practicing.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So those pauses, and you've got more. It's like heart rate variability. You've got more variability in the tone and the speed and the tempo at which you speak.
And a lot of times it's not an intellectual exercise as well. So, the brain can get involved and does need something to chew on. But the body's got a lot of inherent knowledge and wisdom to it that can easily be tapped into by connecting with the breath and relaxing the diaphragm and creating that flow of energy or flow of thought. Because a lot of the times when we get out of our way, confidence comes through. I am even in the breath for me is the fastest way to change it. So if you say, for instance, you take a breath, you breathe low, grounded, you start feeling connected with your breath and you have a feeling of connection coming through. Or if you flex your pelvic floor and you hold on to your diaphragm, your voice kind of goes up higher, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like the voice takes away and you start feeling and the anxiety comes through, and then all of a sudden like you've lost your train of thought. And then all you need is a breath to let go and relax into it and tap into what you were saying.
And the other really great thing about the breathwork sessions, and we call these sessions deep dive sessions, when you're really transforming and moving things in the body. If you've never experienced a transformation session through breath, then it's really like trying to describe an orgasm to someone. You don't know what the fuss is about.
It's hard for me to describe it as well, but I've done it with about 5 different people, and I think you're at the ceiling level because I've got the amazing experience from me. So basically I just advise people, go onto your website, look at this stuff, because it is actually incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, Roy. And what I was going to say about that is that when you achieve a peak state through the breathing, you get this download. You get this, the prefrontal cortex, the front part of your brain shuts off, and it opens up something else. And so you get this amazing reorganizational experience that kind of untangles a lot of stuff and moves away a lot of the crap. And so your thoughts become clearer and your ideas become clearer, and you start to link ideas and things together, and you get into this real flow state of being able to deliver your content. And when someone sees you're in that, and I know that's a lot of people have said to us while we've been in it, like so you said before about we're just in flow. We're just in flow.
In that state, it's like you have a holiday from yourself. So you actually get to stop the chatter and reset and start all over again and come from yourself, the true self, rather than the chatter.
And people notice that. They really notice it, and it hits them straight in the heart. And as a speaker, your main thing that you want to achieve is to punch people straight in the heart with what you're delivering, and make them and
caress them in the heart
and have them feel into it and feel like, wow, that was really powerful. And so yes, breathing and breathwork can give you all of those skills when it comes to speaking.
Not just when coming for speaking.
Right, yeah.
It's like in life. It's in like relationships. Because what is public speaking? Communication. So it's communication with self. It's communication with self and others. It's communication others to each other. And then you start really expanding some magic.
And the more conscious you become through this work, the more quality you're delivering to people, and we really need a lot more speakers to bring their own unique talents and energy to people, because there's a lot of people out there that are lost, that you can say one thing that affects everybody in that crowd differently, and then that is the ripple effect that then carries on. So you must go out there and deliver your genius to everyone.
And that's why I'm actually setting this up, because I see that you have politicians and everything that are training themselves for saying what they're supposed to say, and the genuine people that have something important of value to the world aren't, and we want to get them people up on stage and deliver.
Yeah, I love that, Roy. Yeah, totally support your work.
And you've written a book. Was it a book together? Or?
Yeah.
I started. It was so funny. It was during the most stressful time in our life, and I just felt really compelled to document how we were handling our stress. And Shane's like, put it into the ideas board. And I'm like, no. He goes, maybe we should just wait or slow down a little bit on this. And I'm like, no. And then I actually went to him one day and I was like, I'm doing this with or without you. So you can either co-author it or I'm authoring it myself.
It's my road or the high road.
Yes.
Can I just say, this is where you see the flip. See, I'm usually the direct one. She's usually the one going, well, let's think about this. Now, if you were to ask me 5 years ago and I had a list of all the things that I would achieve in my life, writing a book was not on that list anywhere. So it was a great experience. And actually, we also have a podcast, the Breathing Edge podcast. You can find us now. We have a Facebook group, the Breathing Edge, and inside that Facebook group, there's a free copy of our book.
Yes.
So if you guys are interested and you want to know more about the book, by the way, is 3 lessons on how to lower stress naturally, and you came down this morning with us to the sunrise. It just talks about how to develop a really simple morning routine that's in flow with nature and natural things that you do. So you can get a free copy, inside our Facebook group, and anybody wants to come in, and you can inside that group we have little mini trainings we do. We might come on and do a 6-minute breathing exercise, and people can ask questions, about breathing in relation to their whatever it is that they do. We have all sorts of people in there asking different questions about breathing. How do I use the breath? How do I integrate it into life? How do I use it in my particular, skill set that I have?
And I'll include the link of the actual the podcast and the book. But I mean, definitely that's fantastic for
the more people that can voice themselves, the more relaxation there'll be on this planet. So we're all about the relaxation and supporting people and clearing what they need to get their communication across.
That's brilliant. Look, I loved this podcast, and I love what you're doing, and I hope every listener goes on to your podcast and also read the book, but probably better to buy the hard copy because it's
looking at it on a screen, we do enough time.
Exactly, we keep away from the screen. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
So that's all for today. Be sure to listen to all the episodes because they're all different. And remember to subscribe, give us a positive review, and until next week, have a wonderful day.